Meet Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old YN turned professional hater who became the prime suspect in the brutal unaliving of Charlie Kirk. See, YN Robinson needed help after he was handcuffed in Utah on suspicion of aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, creating serious bodily harm, and obstruction of justice. My first impression of YN Robinson was of an adult who looked like a non-binary reptile with erectile dysfunction. His mugshot made him look like Kendall Jenner's toilet seat head-ass boy. YN Robinson's jawline had his face shaped like Thomas and Friends on child support head-ass boy. Then feminists did a superb job putting YN Robinson into the friend zone back in high school. On one hand, he pulled up to the UVU campus over 3 hours before Charlie's event kicked off. He was iced out in a maroon t-shirt, shorts, George Washington 2025 head-ass limited edition looking kicks, and a black cap. His homeboys tore him to shreds, had him second guessing if CK's life was worth the goofy Donald Duck cream pie head-ass fit. Out of nowhere, he popped out clean with an old black outfit with them Shaq One. This was the moment I knew YN Robinson was on demon timing. Everyone else was warned to stay far away from YN Robinson because he was not your friend.
On some serious shit, I think we need to leave that nigga alone though, bro.
On the other hand, a massive crowd swarmed over the Turning Point gazebo and witnessed CK's jaw-dropping Undertaker at WrestleMania entrance. They ate up his long, slow walk to the skybox, took off his hat, and the main event of Turning Point's American Comeback Premium Live event was underway. Mind you, CK was on an undefeated streak of over 1,000 W's with no L's in debating. Meanwhile, YN Robinson's Mickey Mouse head-ass hideout was nowhere to be seen. Little did I know that CK would be turned into a Twitter hashtag within seconds. Things went from 0 to 100 the moment YN Robinson charged up his Call of Duty sniper rifle and remarked, "I got this nigga now."
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
CK and the students were shaken. I had never seen anybody's seated posture change as fast as CK's since JFK's public meet and greet with Mufasa in 1963, and a play-by-play analysis of the shot in black and white with blurred imagery would serve this catastrophe justice. Following CK's mention of the word violence from a question he asked a UVU student, his t-shirt entitled "Freedom" and his entire head position picked up, giving him massive whiplash, no slavery. Blood splattered over his forehead after the bullet pierced through his jugular vein and carotid artery.
It sadly struck Charlie on the left side of his neck at apparently near his C4 or C5 vertebrae, and apparently ruptured his left carotid artery and left jugular vein, causing sudden and massive blood loss.
The carotid artery carries O2-rich blood from the heart to the brain, and the jugular artery carries CO2-rich blood from the brain to the heart.
So what happens when both are catastrophically ruptured? Right, the jugular vein drains blood from the brain out of the body, while the carotid artery continuously pumps blood out of the body with each heartbeat.
So here's where it got scary. CK was only conscious within the blink of an eye, which was less than 4/10 of a second after he was shot. In other words, Charlie Kirk never knew that he got shot.
If someone goes unconscious in less than about 1 second, the brain cannot register the injury or even register that something is very wrong. Psychologically, the experience for Charlie is as if it never happened. No panic, no dread, no realization that he was about to die. Only an abrupt blackout. It was neurologically impossible for him to psychologically realize anything was wrong at all. But what about pain? It takes approximately just 100 milliseconds to register pain in the neck due to its close proximity to the brain and spinal cord. However, his blackout came so fast, his brain never had the opportunity to turn that raw signal into the perception of pain. What might have looked like movement, specifically with his arms moving upwards, was nothing more than an involuntary defensive reflex, not conscious awareness or the result of feeling any pain. He absolutely did not know he was shot, and psychologically was unable to even register that anything catastrophic ever happened.
This was followed by the instant closing of his knees as his left neck was wide open. As a result, CK lost over a liter of blood in less than 10 seconds before his body dropped to the floor. Then, his bodyguards carried him to an SUV. The frontman here thought this was an audition for Tribal Trump's position as the right-hand man for the Secret Service. On the other hand, the feds wrongly cuffed 2 men up and gave YN Robinson time to get away. Unfortunately, matters were made worse for for him after IG Flicks for Moments found him spinning the block nearly 200 feet away from the Turning Point gazebo, as if he was the main character of Diamond Rush. Let it go, bro! Your homegirl ain't gonna let you hit, even if you finish the game, because P. Diddy already sealed your fate anyways. Besides, you topped the FBI hit list for less than 3 days, so let the rats at home eat the bed sheets you have not washed in over 3 months. Sadly, news reporters outside the hospital Charlie Kirk laid in confirmed that he had reached his expiration date.
It is my great dishonor to be the person that says this and breaks this to you on television, but President Donald Trump is announcing on Truth Social, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
Wyatt Robinson got stuck near the edge, but landed safely, his face torn by disappointment after his fake-ass ooze blindsided him. As if things weren't already awkward, Wyatt Robinson's father forced him to turn himself in. However, Wyatt Robinson rejected his offer, then confessed that unaliving himself was the best option. Before his mother responded, his father called the youth pastor and did the bid for them both. Moments later, Tribal Chump excitedly reported that Wyatt Robinson had been captured and detained in custody.
Any updates on the suspect?
Yeah, can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But yeah, I think we're in great shape. And he's in custody.
Following this, Cox pulled up to the podium and quoted one of the most scintillating monologues in media cinema history.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. A family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. Arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger, investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate.
My biggest takeaway in all of this was that the way CK went out was completely unnecessary, despite the strong difference in views we both had. As a result, the butterfly effect played out after he dropped to the floor. The social dynamics in his entire family transformed rapidly. His independent media company underwent a remarkable position shuffle and a transition of power. Thus, many were either promoted, fired, or resigned from their jobs in exchange for another one. Security had recently become every politician's high priority. Relationships between people outside the Kirk family have been destroyed due to differences in political and religious views. Ha! You don't believe me? People in my social circle had cut off their close long-term friends and unfollowed them on all social media platforms due to the way they responded to CK's unaliving scenes. The net positive of CK's presence before his death challenged me to identify and close knowledge gaps in my views and belief systems that were against his. It also made me realize that the world will test your self-confidence in whatever way they see fit to see if you are one of one. The mass genocide of Palestine Palestinians in Gaza, the resistance against the Sudanese, and displacement of Congolese are evidence of this 100-fold, and I must admit, their resilience is second to none. Furthermore, his death reminded people that the biggest risk of standing on business is offending people, including your family members. Do it anyway. I'd rather be respected and hated than to be liked and disrespected. After all, what helps you win in the jungle may get you expelled from the village. Jimmy Kimmel learned that the hard way after ABC pulled his show off the air. All in all, if 2025 was the MCU, Infinity War would have been the month of September. Thanos, aka Benjamin Netanyahu, snapped half of all life in the Middle East and flipped Gaza sideways like the other side of the coin. Gen Zs from Nepal ran the fate of their corrupt government like Super Poo's ass whooping to Vegeta. And CK got his live subscription cancelled by a psychotic young man who listened to YNW Melly. And if you found this video watching experience extremely captivating, then I highly recommend this video on JFK I had made just for you and your best friend as a parting gift. I am the Monthly, and this is goodbye.